Hi everyone, how we doing today?
Coming back from lunch, but
All right.
thank you for being here.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. Sorry, I had another meeting that overlapped with this, so I was a little late jumping back over here, but uh, thanks for everyone's patience. All right, I'll be jumping from device to device here a little bit. So if something doesn't make sense, feel free to jump on there and be like, "Hey, I'm not sure what we're looking at," or ask questions as we go. But if you have an indie with you, that'd be great. We're gonna do some hands-on things if you have one with you. If you don't, feel free to kind of think through how indie works here and go through those motions with that. So we're going to look at some math concepts using indie in this session. So we can look at some of those things today. We do have some brand new indie content out there, so it's not just what comes in the class pack anymore. There's some new stuff, and I'll show you at the towards the end of this presentation how to find all that new content that's out there for indie. We will be adding more and more content as time goes on with indie. So that's really exciting. We've been hearing from a lot of educators that really love indie, how much they want more content, they want more for it. So we've been working hard on the content team to do that. So I am going to jump over here to my presentation. And there we go. Is that right reading for everyone? Does that look great? Is it good? Okay.
Yep,
Awesome.
we're good.
Perfect. All right. So we're going to look at those math concepts. So we're going to look at some of those different things that are in here. We'll breeze through it. But a quick reminder of Indie, or if you haven't used Indie before, what those color tiles do. So green is go or go faster. So Indie has those three speeds. Once Indy hits the top speed, you can add as many green tiles as you want. It's not going to go any faster um, than that. And the same is true with yellow, which is slow down. So once you hit that top speed, our bottom speed is not going to go any slower with that. So only those three speeds that are there. And then we have red, or as I like to call it, the boring stop, because that just makes Indy stop when it hits the red tile. But when students find purple, and what purple does, I call that the fun or exciting stop. We officially call it celebrate. It makes Indy play a tune, spin around in some circles, and celebrate, made it to the end. Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, your students refuse to use red and only want to use purple. Exactly. Once students figure out purple, like you might as well take the red tiles and throw them over your shoulder because they don't want to touch them anymore, right? And I get it. I don't like to use it either. I like to use the purple because it's just more fun. So going down the right side of this slide, we have pink is our left 90-degree turn, blue is our right 90-degree turn, and orange are 45 left, and teal are 45 right. Here's a quick little way I remember these is when you're having a debate with someone, you always want to be the one that's right, and we have warm and cool colors here, right? Blue and teal are cool colors, so it's cool to be right. That's how I remember them. It's cool to be right. Blue and teal get you to the right. Quick way to kind of remember those. So let's get to the math portion of this. We have a bunch of new math activities that are in there, as well as the team is working on some ELA things. And we just released earlier this year the Indie Code Mat, which has Indie Land, which has all kinds of literacy activities on it as well. Our focus today is on the math side of this. So here is an activity where we're counting by tens. There's also an activity where students can count by ones. So depending on student ability and your grade level, you might work with any of these activities that's appropriate for your students. So every time indi crosses a tile or is on a tile, you add 10. So you count. So in this case, we have our green tile that is 10. As indi progresses through this, it's going to slow down, then speed up, and then stop. So yellow is 20, green is 30, red is 40. So in this next slide, I'm going to ask you to go ahead and set this up. Just real quick, feel free to give a reaction here. If you have an indi kit, let me know by throwing a reaction in there just to see if everyone has an indi kit available. Okay, got one. Anyone else? Okay. All right. Well, we'll give some time so you can actually do this, and anyone else that might not have an indi kit we'll kind of walk our way through this and talk our way through it at the same time. So here is our next challenge. So you'll notice, so if you have the indi kit, feel free to go ahead and set this up. Again, you can work small scale like on a tabletop, or you can put this on the floor. If you're familiar enough using indi, you'll know that 9 times out of 10, you end up crawling around on the floor using indi, just where it ends up going. So we're going to start with that first tile. That is going to be our green tile. Remember that indi always starts on green, and indi does not start on any other tile. It's always green. So that'll be our first 10. And we're going to cross that yellow to get to 20. And that next teal is going to be 45 degrees to the right, will be 30. And then we're going to have another teal there, and that's going to be 45 degrees again to the right, which gives us a total of 40 in our count. And then we have green again. So it's going to speed indi up at 50. We're going to slow indi back down at 60. We give our students a little helping hand here by giving them the blue equals 70. So it's a good check for students, a self-check while they are counting through here. So that's going to turn them 90 degrees. So they're going to be coming back towards the bottom of the grid. We're going to speed up right before the finish here at 80 and purple at 90. This really lets indi kind of pick up the pace, slow it back down, move through all of those turns. The cool part with this particular activity, it does have handouts with it, doing helping students work their way through that. There's also teacher's guides. I'll pull those up here in just a moment for everyone to take a look at. Then moving on, as we kind of level up for our students, we can do some addition and subtraction. You could do it within 10, within 20, again, leveling this up or down depending on your students' ability and grade levels to, get them practicing some of that math. So the way this will work is each color tile is assigned a number. And then that is given to the student on a handout, and they are then given these different paths. So in this case, they're going to add up the value of green, yellow, and blue. And when they hit red, or you could substitute purple if that's more fun, to add those up and give the sum of those numbers. Students can fill these in by drawing random numbers, or they can be assigned a number. So one of the things I like to do is, if you have access to Bolt as well, make a random number generator with Bolt, and every time you shake Bolt, this will be your first number, right? To add those in. And you can say, I want to do addition anywhere from, use numbers 1 through 10 or 0 through 10. And you shake bolt, you get a number. That's what green is. Shake bolt again, that's what yellow is. So it changes every time. So it changes up the math problem that's in there. It's really, really kind of a fun way to do it. If you don't have bolt there, you can use a random number generator, or pick cards out of a pile, numbers out of a hat, whatever you want to do, to kind of randomize those things. So here's what it would look like in that handout. You have all of your color tiles. So students would actually drag and drop, if given these in a digital format, they would drag and drop the tiles that they're setting up in here, and then the numbers that are assigned to them to do the math problem. So this might look like our math problem here. So that 12 plus 7 equals 19. So we have our students practicing those. Cool part about this is you can substitute out the operator. So in this case, we're doing addition, but this could 100% be a subtraction problem. If you wanted to level up even higher, maybe out of the scope of indi in some cases, but you could do multiplication or division here as well. You know, We've even done math problems using bolt in a very similar way, where we've done, powers, or you could even do trig in these. So you can really level this concept up and down for your students. All right, so let's take a look. So we're going to solve this path first. And while you're solving the path, I'm going to pull up a random number generator here, using bold. So go ahead and work on solving your path. Kind of keep your answers to yourself right now, but figure out what those are going to be. This one's a little bit trickier, so take some time to really think through what this path is going to be, even though it's only 4 tiles in total. Give you just another minute or so to figure out that path. All right. So let's go ahead and what did everyone get for that first question mark after the green tile? Feel free to unmute or throw it in there in the chat. Teal. All right. So we got teal, which is going to take us right 45. Awesome. What about that second question mark? All right. So we're seeing some teal. We're seeing some blue in there. So let's explore that. So we're moving from here to here. If we did another teal, it's only turning us 45. That's going to run this direction on the grid. So we're actually turning 90. So we need a blue tile here, which is going to take us to our stop in this case. So give me 1 second, and we're going to run our random numbers here. All right. So here we go. So that first random number is going to be for our teal tile. And, I got to turn let's turn our audio on. 8. So teal is going to be 8, and we're doing addition. And blue
7.
will be 7. So go ahead, figure out your answer, throw it in the chat. All right, we got some 15s in there. All right, perfect. Right, so we get the idea of how we can randomize this and make this fun. Just in case anyone does use Bolt, I know this session's not about Bolt, but just so you can see what I'm doing and how this works, this is what my code looks like here. I just turned stabilization off, and I did an on collision. And when I shake Bolt, that's triggering it to pick a random number, 1 through 10. It's storing it in a variable called rand in this case. And then it's going to speak that number as well as it scrolls it across my screen so I can actually see the number. Just in case I can't hear it, we can see it on that screen as well. If I need it to go a little bit slower, of course, I can break this speed down a little bit just to make it go a little bit slower so I can see that. All right. So that looks good. So just again, as an example here, this is what it would look like. We would fill those numbers in for us. Right. So we would add in that number here and here to get that sum at the end. Again, addition, subtraction, put bigger numbers, smaller numbers, level this up, change the operator to maybe even go into multiplication or division. Here's another example of doing this with multiplication. So in this particular lesson, Indy is playing a game where it collects points based on the color it crosses. Unlike the other games, as Indy crosses the color, it adds the points to get a total score. So you can do this as addition, or you could multiply them and multiply those out for your total. And again, assign those numbers to those colors get assigned a number, and we work through those many times over and over and over again for our students. So it's really pretty cool where you can kind of level this up, level it down for the students' abilities. So a lot of fun. Also, if you haven't seen our grid or the Indy code mat, the Indy code mat really helps with kind of organizing these paths for the students. So a lot of fun using that mat. It helps with students that might struggle with aiming their Indy and getting it to cross everything. You can do that right on the mat, which is super, super helpful. All right, so here we have it with multiplication. So again, we're going to multiply those points out. So solve the path. So go ahead and work on this. So what is our first tile going to be here? All right, seeing some blue, that's good. Yep, we're gonna turn right. A little bit tricky, so look at your options on the left side here for tile number 2. Yeah, yellow, absolutely. And you're thinking, well, it could be green, right? But if we look at our chart over here, green is only listed as start. So we would have no way to multiply that, right? So a little bit tricky. We probably don't want to do that to our students, but as adults, we can solve that for ourselves, right? So we would do 3 times 1 is going to equal 3. And again, you can level these up, level them down. If you're working on a particular, times table, maybe we're only doing the 3 times tables, right? So what you put here changes the product at the end. So you could change the leaving this blue tile the same, change this second tile to work through those multiplication facts. All right, so here's our answer, what it looks like. We got that 3 times 1 equals 3. All right, so go ahead, solve that problem now. Tile question mark 1, tile 1. Yep, teal is going to get us going 45. That's good. 45. We're going to hit question mark 2. What angle do we need here to get to red? Yeah, teal, which is 5, times blue, which is 3, gets us down here to 15. So teal and blue. Remember that we're getting blue here because a 45-degree turn from indi going this direction would put indi this direction. So we need 90 degrees to bring us this way down to the red. And we're going to get that 5 times 3 equals 15. All right. Then we can really ramp this up, right? And go crazy with it in this case. So here we have a bunch of um, different paths that we could take. So here we're going to follow this path. It's going to be 5 times 3 times 4 times 2 times 3 times 4, coming back down here to the red. So if we want to adult size this challenge, right? Or maybe make this, take this to our middle school or high schoolers, or maybe you could even do order of operations here, being really creative with the use of indi. So instead of doing multiplication, you could change up your operators to do that. So just a way to kind of level this thing up and make it really pretty fun and exciting for your students. I do want to take quite a bit of time here and talk about Sphero Central. So Sphero Central is our new content management system. So before, with all Sphero products, you ended up in different locations on different sites to find content. And I want to take some time to explain how this system works, because now you can actually access all Sphero content in one location, which is really, really nice. You don't have to jump to different websites. So in Sphero Central, just being specific to indi right now, we do have collections for indi lessons. And the way you access this, you go to edu.sphero.com. You can click on indi, and I'll give a demo of this in just a second or two here. You'll click on indi and then content, and you can see those lessons here. You can also see the collections that are here, that collections tab. Here we have the counting, the numbers collection, which is all of your counting. And then we have our addition and subtraction, just what we looked at there, which is super helpful. Not every lesson will be in a collection. Currently, they are all in different collections. However, as we add more and more content, maybe there's content that there's just like a one-off kind of lesson and it doesn't fit into one of the collections. So it'll just be under the lessons tab. So let's take a look at Sphero Central. So you go to edu.sphero.com, and then you can click on your product that's up here. Since we're talking about Indy today, I'll click on Indy. Do note that I am logged into this system. You can log into the system, but you can choose not to log into the system. So if you have any teachers that are creating courses for, say, Bolt or Rover or anything that uses the Sphero EDU app, and they're creating courses to assign lessons to students, they'll have to log into this system in order to create those courses. So when I click on Indy, I have all that getting started material that's here. So when I scroll down, you can explore what's in Indy here, which is really pretty cool. We can see those challenge cards, all those lessons and resources, and of course the EDU app, the EDU Junior app, which is specific to Indy. Um, if you've never explored the EDU Junior app, it's really cool. It's based on drag and drop programming, as you can kind of see in this image here. Each tile, so in this case, we're looking at the purple tile. Each tile has a movement, a light, and a sound to it. So you can change the behavior of what Indy does when it sees a tile. So we can drag a different movement up here. So the one I like to reprogram right away is red, because as we talked about, we can kind of take red and throw it over our shoulder and get rid of it as soon as students discover purple. So I like to reprogram red right away. And there's all kinds of options. There's a dance party one, which is really fun. It's just another alternative ending and makes um, that red stop tile kind of fun still. But there's also things like 30-degree turns. So if you're doing math lessons and you want to switch things up from just doing 90 and 45-degree turns, you can now add in 30-degree turns and do those. Under the lights, you can make it flash like strobe. You can change the color, which live previews on the robot, which is really, really cool, as well as change those sounds. The sounds that are built into Indy, you can actually play music. There are built-in songs where every time that Indy sees a tile that has that sound applied to it, it'll play the next note of the song. So if you wanted to play a song kind of fluently, you would apply the song to every tile that's on your path in the EDU Junior app. And as Indy crosses every tile, it'll play the next note. So you can do some cool things like, Old MacDonald has a farm and Twinkle Twinkle Little Star and all kinds of fun things. If you want to go further, and this is actually really cool with students that maybe even beyond second grade, where you can make your own music. There is a sound tile that can go in here that assigns a specific musical note to that color. And one of the first things I did with Indy was I reprogrammed my Indy to play Enter Sandman by Metallica when it drove across all my tiles, just because obviously every elementary robot should be playing a Metallica song. Yeah, that's probably why I taught high school, right? So you could do some really fun, cool things. So you could do, some different like Halloween theme right now. You could play some music, give them the notes. And what they could do is to adjust the timing between the notes, is adjust the space between the tiles. Then that will help with the timing of the song, which is really pretty cool, pretty fun. They're also making a really creative path when they do this. So definitely a lot of fun. So these are some of the resources that are built into there. Let's take a look at those lessons. We have 3 collections currently. There will be more in the future. The first one is the Indie Core, and the Indie Core collection is those 20 lessons that are built into the educator guide. So basically, those 20 lessons that are in the educator guide are now digital. So they're now in here, ready for you to jump in and kind of get started with those, right? So if you've used the educator guide, here it is in a digital format broken down for you. And if you're wondering where is this educator guide you speak of, if you got an indie class pack and it came in the black cloth carrying case, there's a zipper inside of the lid, and you can unzip that. Your educator guide's inside of there. There's some extra cardstock color tiles in there. There's spare stickers in there, just what you wanted, so some students can decorate your laptop when you turn away. It's all those extra things are in the lid for you to check out. So you can find all of those things in there. I just saw a question come across the chat. Where can I find those handouts, right? So here's some really cool activities that I talked about here. So let's talk about that adding within 20. When I go into here, we have a teacher guide. That teacher guide will open in a Google Doc format. I'll zoom in so it's a little more Google Meet friendly. Since it is in a Google Doc format, you can make a copy to make adjustments to this. Think of the teacher guide as kind of a pseudo lesson plan for you. So you can kind of modify this to fit your templates. You can download it as a PDF or a Word doc as well if you don't want to work in the Google formats. Everything's in here for you to prep and deliver this content. So you can see some examples here. There's teacher tips to get you started right inside of there. We also, in this case, we use some number cards. So a lot of elementary classrooms already have pre-made number cards for you they're like playing cards. If you don't have them, you can simply download this, print it out, cut them out, and here you have some number cards. In this particular lesson, we go from 0 through 10, so they're all in here for you. So you can just print them, cut them out, and you're ready to go. Again, you can make copies of these right up here or download them in whatever format you need. Now, to answer your actual question about the student handout, there's a button here. You can grab that handout. Again, since it's in a Google Doc format, you can assign it straight from here in your learning management system if you so chose. Or you can go up to that file menu and either make a copy to your Google account or download it in whatever file format you need. From here, students are able to actually, kind of draw in their shapes here or color this in, as well as they can come in here and enter the number just by inserting a text box in here. If they're doing it digitally, if they're, you're printing this out, they can write right in there, and it has all of the different problems or paths that are given inside of the lesson for you. And it's all right in here in the resource, which makes it super, super helpful. When you hit the see more, you'll also see those standards. They are listed in the teacher guide as well, but if you're not referencing that, they are listed in here. And something that is new in Sphero Central is we have a rate this lesson with a thumbs up, thumbs down. Super simple. We know you don't have a lot of time to give a lot of feedback, but we're always looking for feedback to make our content better. So feel free when you use a lesson or check out a lesson, give it a thumbs up or thumbs down so we know how you're feeling about it. If you do have stronger feelings that you want to, pass on, or maybe have a question about things, feel free to email any of us on the Sphero team, whether it's your sales rep, myself, or anyone at Sphero, you can contact us and give us some more in-depth feedback. We love when we get feedback, so feel free to do that. If you don't have a lot of time, please do throw the ratings in there when you do some of these lessons. So those are those three collections. When you go to that lessons tab, you will also see all of our lessons that are in here um, for us. So you can go in and you can play around with all of these here. There will be more added to this coming sometime soon. I know, for example, I have a lesson that I wrote that's a physical education lesson with indi, and it kind of reminds you of the snake game that used to be on like older cell phones. Uh, and it works the same way. So it's getting those kids up out of their seats, moving. It's a really fun, engaging challenge. Keeps our students moving, help them burn off some of that energy that they might have coming from other classes. So you can get them doing those things, which is really fun. So as soon as I have a free moment, I'll be getting that in here, hopefully sometime in the next couple weeks. So you'll be able to find those as well. So these are our new lessons. How we can find these in edu.sphero.com, or as we call it, Sphero Central. There are a few more resources that are available in here. We do have a digital copy of that educator guide. So maybe your educator guide got lost, or you're trying to plan a lesson and that educator guide is in your class pack at school. You can pull this up. It's a PDF. You can play around with that, to do some things there. I know I use it from time to time to plan out my slides and things like that. I'll take screenshots right from there. We do have a digital version of the challenge cards. Each student kit does come with challenge cards. There's 15 of them in there. A couple of those are, I like to call them the cheat sheets, right? They're the help ones of, indi turns right on blue. Those kinds of things are in there as well. But the most up-to-date version of those, so maybe some of your challenge cards are, a little beat up or anything like that, or they're missing. You can go in and grab the digital ones, or even print them. I mentioned that accessory that we have now of the code mat, the indi code mat. So here is the educator guide for Indie Land, which is really pretty cool. There's a lot of really fun and engaging activities that go with this. So we have like the retelling roller coaster, we have the vocabulary volcano, and all of these are different places that indi can visit. You will notice that on the mat, there is a grid here as well. So it does help with placement of them. Yes, I do know it is grayscale. It is less fun than having the tiles, because the tiles are really, really fun because they're all different colors. You'll place those colored tiles onto here. We had to do that because indi, reads colors, and that's how it gets its commands. So it's a really fun technical challenge when you have a very colorful background that you're trying to run indi across. If you've ever tried to run indi across like a really colorful surface and all of a sudden it reacts to it, that's the challenge that we had with a code mat. Trust me, I went through about 15 different code mats testing these, and in the end we decided let's go grayscale to make sure that we're not confusing our students by having it read colors that we don't want it to. So it is there. It's really cool, fun to play around with. I know this is more on the language arts and literacy side of things, but it's just really, really fun to do that. The other side of this mat is just a blank grid without all the background printing. So really, really helpful. If you've been in any trainings with me virtually over the last year and a half-ish, maybe, you might have seen the indi code mat or some version of the indi code mat at some point in time. I've been using it for a little while, and I know people are super, super excited to do that. So these are, yeah, here you can see some examples of of those paths and activities just on the blank grid. So this document is available there. We do have a beginner programming guide. We have a summer camp guide. We have a guide or a link to the EDU Junior app. There is 2 video tutorials here, just the kind of getting started, as well as the Junior EDU Junior app tutorial. And then we have all kinds of other additional resources down here at the bottom. We have our math and literacy supporting guide, multilingual learners guide. There's a special ed guide. One of my favorites is a DIY challenge card where you can actually open this. It opens in Google Slides, and you or your students can build your own challenge card, which is really, really fun to build out those challenge cards with your students and exchange them and give them a shot. Now, I know a lot of you aren't necessarily direct educators, right? You are supporting other educators as coaches with that. So some of you turn around and share some of these things or do some trainings on your own with other educators. And to help support people that are doing that, we have generated these this Indi PD starter presentation. And what this is it's a slides presentation that will help you facilitate around a 60-minute professional development session using Indi. So instead of you having to build all your own slides and start from scratch to do those kinds of trainings, it is right here for you to get started. Again, it's in Google Slides format, so you can download it as a PowerPoint, make a copy as a Google Slides presentation, and modify it to fit your needs. But it really helps getting you started with a bunch of things there. We do have some 3D printed accessories that are there, which are really fun. I have one of those accessories here with me today. So you can see what this looks like. This is the Indi Garage. And the Indi Garage is an aiming device, and it is set up to help your students aim Indi consistently. We've all had those students that are really might struggle where they aim Indi kind of at a little bit of an angle, and then they're not consistently getting the same results. This is a 3D printable file. We give it away for free. You can 3D print this thing. I travel with mine a lot, so I attached mine to a cardstock tile. You could attach this to other durable tiles if you wanted. I just used some 3M command strips there, like the Velcro style ones, the hook and loop ones. And you'll see on the actual print, these little notches are there so that they fit perfectly to put some command strips or other types of fasteners on there. And you can just take that, snap it in place, and now you're consistent with doing this. It just really helps those students that struggle with aiming. So we have that. There are some previous seasons of the Global Challenge. I'm actually wearing, by coincidence, my Global Challenge shirt today here. So if you're not familiar with the Sphero Global Challenge, we have a Global Challenge for early elementary, which uses Indi, upper elementary, which uses Bolt or Bolt Plus, and our middle school challenge that uses RVR. So you can pull up previous seasons here, seasons 2 and 3 for free. So you can check those out to get some additional content that's there. One of the other 3D printable accessories that we have for Indi is what we call the Blueprint Indi Bridge. So the way this thing works is it snaps onto Indi. Again, it's 3D printable, it's free. But if you have access to blueprint kits, you can snap this into here and actually build blueprint builds right off of Indi, which is really fun. You can build some cool, decorations or things like that. I foresee, this time of year, you want to do a Halloween parade. They could build a structure off of this and then decorate it for their parade. to do Indy parades, which would be really, really fun. So these are all the different resources that are in here and available. And like I said, we are adding lessons and resources to this system all the time. And maybe you have other robots or products that are Sphero. You can access blueprint content as well as all the previous Sphero EDU content and new EDU content for Bolt, Bolt Plus, Spark, Spark Plus, Rover, Rover Plus, and Mini, and even older robots, legacy robots, are all in this system. So you can access all of these things right from that one location. All right, we have a few minutes left, so I'm going to open the floor to any questions that you might have. Feel free to either throw them in the chat, or if you want to unmute and ask the question, no problem. I will be happy to answer anything I can. All right. If you don't have any questions or think of something later, feel free to contact me. My email is brad.fessler@sphero.com. Feel free to send any emails for questions on content, anything like that. We can help you out with that. Oh, great question about if we don't have a 3D printer, can we buy the Indie Garage online? That's a great question. Unfortunately, we do not produce those. We only supply the design files. However, there are services online for 3D printing outside of Sphero. So you can just supply the STL file that we provide to one of those services and they can print it. I can tell you like the Indie Garage, to print this is like 2.5 hours, maybe something like that to print it. It's really not that bad of a print. It's pretty quick. This is a great time where maybe you don't have a printer in your classroom. Try to employ some of the other folks that are in your district, right? A lot of high school classrooms, a lot of other classrooms do have access to 3D printers. Start asking some of your peers, they can do that. Or if you need to, go to an online service to upload that STL file, they'll ship it right to you.
I was just thinking that, Brad. I've definitely seen a lot of the high schools, and I think even some middle schools have those 3D printers. So can't hurt to tap into your feeder schools for sure. Great idea.
Absolutely.
And
Well, thank you, everyone.
I was going to say, I did put the session 3 attendance in the chat. And Brad, thank you so much. And I'll let you close out. Sorry.
All right. Oh, no problem. Thank you all for joining. I appreciate it. Hopefully you found some value in the new Indy content. We have some really fun stuff there and even more stuff coming here in the future with Indy. So please keep checking that from time to time to see all the new fun things that are happening with Indy.